The Quench, where you ask, we answer.
Welcome to another episode of The Quench. My name is Wangeshi Karemi, and this is MBCI TV. So today we are talking about creativity and Christianity. So we have had so many myths and misconceptions that come around the two when they intertwine, yeah? So we have a bunch of people dancing in church. Nambio inu shetani. We don't do that here. Okay, you dress in a certain way because you want to be a fashion designer. You're called for a meeting. You're called out, you're told this is not how we do it. And it's not just in churches. When you have a group of young people that are dressed in a funny way coming together, instead of someone saying, oh wow, that's a creative team, that's the kind of attitude you get. So really, let's talk about it. How do you exist as a creative, as an artist, as a person who is actually doing the creative process, the process of coming up with something from scratch to the end of it all? How do you exist in such a society? And I am joined by two very able voices of experts, and we will start by them introducing themselves to us. And then they're going to tell us in their own few words, what do you think is the definition of a creative? I am going to start with you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Calvin Jodisi. I am the CEO and founder of Ascenti Africa. Ascenti Africa helps build young entrepreneurs. So basically, our business is to be able to build young entrepreneurs across different sectors. So I mean, also looking at creative, because creative industry is quite diverse and it's quite huge.
And
so,
it's also growing very fast.
Yeah, and also it's growing globally. And basically, I think that's where all the money is. All the money actually is in the creative industry as well. So yeah, so looking forward to this conversation, and it's nice to be here.
Okay, nice. So you've not answered the second part. What is your definition of a creative?
So for me, my definition of a creative is anybody who actually able to come up with a concept and be able to actually implement that particular concept. So it can be, for example, a creative in music. Okay, you come up with a concept in music, probably write a good music, either able to sing or somebody is going to sing it, or you can actually be a designer who can actually be able to design either clothes. Okay. Come up with the concept of the cloth even before the design. So the concept, so if you can actually be able to even write just the concept without the design, the drawing, that for me, I consider you actually a creative, an inception creative, okay? So inception creative is somebody who can actually visualize that and be able to come up with that before you give that thought to a designer who now going to sit down and say, oh, so let's draw it like this, okay? And then now we're going to have another person who's like, okay, so I can actually make this cloth, okay? And then now we're going to have the last person who can actually, I can market this cloth. So even if you're, let's say you're a marketer in that aspect, so are you able to market that creative? Okay, so I also consider that as being creative. Yeah.
No, okay, nice. An introduction, and then tell us what you think the definition of creative is.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Gideon Makumi. I'm the Special Programs Coordinator, HR and Admin Bethel Network. And I'm happy because some of the things we do under special programs at Bethel is about creativity. And therefore, going to the definition, I'll use the very basic terms of my understanding of what creativity is. And I think first and foremost, it's a combination of freedom and joy.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, you don't look at the limits you have, but if you love something, you combine it with that freedom and decide to go, even be innovative and go your way out without necessarily having to look at what already exists. Okay. So there's a bit of innovation and there's a bit of passion. Then when you combine the two of them, you come up with something which we can call creativity.
Yes. Okay. Innovation, passion, combined. So now, I want us to actually understand who is a creative from the audience. And if you identify as a creative, what are the challenges you face as a creative in Kenya, in whatever context you are in, especially in the church? Okay, so let me get those answers. Who is a creative and what are the challenges that creatives face? Especially if you can answer that question from your own personal experience.
Hey.
Hello.
I am Sandra. I am a poet, a dancer, and an actor. So whatever genre that faces a lot of challenges amongst the three is a dancer. being a dancer in church. Because most of the time we dance to beats, not songs. Because nowadays we only listen to Ada and the other artists. Mostly we used to dance to Willie Paul and stuff, but he changed. So we dance to beats. So if you come to church with a certain beat, maybe combined beats, the church leader starts saying something like, this is not a holy song, it's not a gospel, we don't know that one. So like, I am dancing for God, I'm not dancing for myself. This is my offering to God. So why would somebody judge me?
Yeah, there's a lot of judgment that comes. It's not just in the church. Yes, let's get it there.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I'm Tony. From my own perspective as a dancer and as a choreographer, the thing that we face is that I personally, as a choreographer, I have new ideas and better ideas that I can transform my message to the people that I want them to hear. But these ideas or these styles that I can use to transform these messages, people judge them. They say like, I'm doing something that is not like Christianity. But I feel like it's a dance. I want to show someone like whatever thing you are doing, it's bad. So it's very hard because you have to use that thing in that dance so that the person there can see that and can come back to senses to notice that that thing is bad. So being creative, it's like holded in a certain way. I feel like you're not even to your fullest potential, and you have another. Feel like you have to get somewhere like you are who yourself. You can do everything you want to do without limitations from the church or from the people. I would say this because when I was young, like when I finished Form 4, I put dreadlocks in my head because I felt that is the place I want to be as a hyperman and a choreographer. But to be true, I have one anchor of myself. Never spoke a word to me since the time I put them in my head until the time I shaved them. So like I feel like we face a lot of challenges where people like they pick us like whatever things that we are doing as these creative ways, they are not applied upon the churches.
Now, they don't talk to you. Can you blame them? But I get the view. Yeah, in this field, it's very difficult for you to actually exist in it. You think it's very easy to get into because it comes to you naturally, but you get there and then you realize, let's get another view. I hope you're not telling us about dancing again. Because we want to get as many diverse views as possible, yes?
Hi, my name is William. I'm a page and performing poet. On who is a creative, I will probably reference a definition. I'm lucky to have done art and design in high school. So the definition that I was taught in high school about what art is. So art is the ability to make an idea in one's mind visible, audible, or tangible. So using that definition, basically anyone is a creative because through your process from childhood to adulthood, there was a certain point you were trying to create something, whether it's a composition or something. So I'm a page and performing poet, and on the question of the challenges that we're facing as a poet, I would say poetry and the spoken word industry in Kenya is it's not a really well-established form of art. So because of that reason, there are limited resources, and the access to opportunity is really not that good. So you have to create your own space, so that you can earn a living out of it. There are not very many opportunities.
Yeah, so it's the appreciation and the lack of opportunities and resources to see this through. Let's get one more from the audience.
Hi.
I'm
Esther. I'm a dancer and a poet. So nasikia tu dancer wameongea sana, so I'll speak as a poet. So I think pia inakuja na perception, like ya watu, perception ya watu towards poets wengine inahonga wrong. Like umesimama, maybe unataka kuminister kwa watu, umekuja kwa church, but msana ngoja tu line alikas na like unajaribu na sema uko deep. Like you are trying to pass out a message, like msiba tamesha conform mind yake kutafuta the entertaining part. Na pia so the platforms, like platform kama poets, like hakuna platform ya perform. Unapata kuna ka event na audience ni poets wenyewe ndio wako, like nyinyi ndio mna perform, nyinyi ndio mko hapo, like your return hakuna. And then pia as a Christian poet, like as a poet unakonga creative. So sengine unapata like kule wase wana respond kwa points zako zinakuwa different. So like msata expect you when you poet na Christian poet, kila saa unaandika about salvation, kila saa unaandika about Christ, which it's right. So unapata
Sayo,
zingine
wewe
umeandika
unataka
about
kusema kupanda.
love poem and then like the return like wase wanakuja like hiyo nini feedback yenye wase wanakuja nayo, ama unaandika about mental health like nikawa na kuingisha kwa box like uko unaandika kitu moja and still you are a creative like hizi ni issues zinatuface hata kama you are a Christian, wase wana struggle na depression, wase wana struggle na immorality, but when you speak out there like inakaa kama uko carnal or
Yeah. So that's actually a big challenge. Content actually is a big issue.
I'm Salome. I'm going to speak as an actor. Now, acting in church faces a lot of challenges in terms of you're supposed to deliver gospel to people through acting. And you just find that the members expect you to, like, let me take, I'm given a role to act as Jesus. They don't see me as an actor. They expect me to be like Jesus. So combining art with drama sometimes becomes so hard. The audience may be so much judgmental, and also the content, because you are restricted. You must speak what is in the Bible. You are ministering to the Christians. So that moment that you hit outside the box, or you just ukose tu content kidogo, the discrimination that comes from the audience is, you just feel no, it's too much.
Puts you down, doesn't it? It does. Let's get one more.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sylvester. I'm a singer, an artist, and I'll stick to the definition given by, I think it's William. It's a good one. And the problem that we face, especially as us upcoming artists, is that there is low recognition of these upcoming artists. So you find like low recognition of these upcoming artists. So you find like most youths and most Kenyans are fans of music from the outside world, from the Western countries. So we find like in every party, in everywhere, they are treasuring the songs from the ancient countries other than their own. So we find like, even if I was trying my best to give the best I can out of myself, it will still not add up to a value that will convince these people enough to treasure in supporting their own music. And again, there are no mechanisms to support these young artists in terms of finances in order to be able to support their art. So I feel like music is a very wider, one of the wider bases which can be able to use to promote or to enhance various sectors in the economy. Basically, even in creating awareness and promoting government plans and projects, advertisements, it's being used everywhere. So you'll find like if there are no mechanisms to support these upcoming artists, then they will be discouraged, and then so many talents will be denatured. Thank you.
That's actually a big problem. Let's take it to our panelist, Mr. Makumo. You're the youth mentor and you're also the human resource guy. So we will ask you from this perspective, how do you create that niche? Yes, so there are all of these problems that we can't sit here and actually solve them with just a snap of a finger. But how do you survive, and how do you create that niche for yourself so you can actually see through to the end? Okay.
I think I'll start by saying, first and foremost, and now that we are talking to an audience of Christians, is that even us, we are a product of creativity. We were all created by God. That's why you hear even at the end saying, and God saw that the man was lonely, you know. I'm not talking about marriage, but you see, he thought of something, and out of creativity, he created a woman, you know. So creativity started from God himself. And another thing I love talking about, which I can combine with this, is realizing that none of us was created empty. When God was creating each one of us, there's something he put inside of us. And that's why not all of you are artists, not all of you are singers. Others are poets, others are hype men, you know. Others are dancers. It is because we cannot be the same, all of us. There's something that God has put inside of us, which I prefer to call purpose. So if you discover that you are not created empty and God has put something in you in the name of purpose, then you wouldn't allow anything to come between you and that purpose. And purpose is the reason for your existence. You are created for that thing, and therefore don't limit yourself just because of what Gideon thinks about it. it is my opinion of you and the poem you're writing. It is his opinion of you and maybe the dance you're doing. But in reality, is God happy with you exploiting your talent and those things that he has placed inside of you? If the answer is yes, then why not? Go ye forth and do what? Manifest.
Yes.
Because God has given you that thing so that you can make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
How we see it is that the reason why God has placed that particular thing in you, which now comes out of you in form of creativity, it is so that you can make the difference in the world and so that you can minister to those who may not necessarily be ministered to just using a pastor standing here. Remember, everything we are doing, whether in the church, outside the church, as long as you are a Christian, we call it ministry. It is ministry because there's something who can relate with what you are doing better than they can relate with what the pastor or the teacher is saying to them.
Yeah.
So consider it as a ministry and don't allow anything or anyone to limit you just because they think your way is not their way. You are free to excel in a unique way because you are a unique being created by God in a unique manner. Thank you.
Okay, that was actually very detailed. I love the fact that you actually broke it down and even put to the point of saying that whatever you do is ministry. Now, judgments are always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we actually wake up tomorrow and we accept art with all of our might, you're still going to be judged. Keka manati, tutakujudge. When you dress in different colors, we will judge you. Judgments are always going to be there. How you handle these judgments define what kind of a creative you are. You need to ensure that the kind of creativity you put forward is not limited by other people, but by your ability. And your ability can get better and better and better. So with that, let's take a break. And when we come back from the break, we will be talking about creativity and activism. We will be talking about how can creative people actually pass that message they want to pass. Whether it is Christianity, you want to actually minister to people. Whether it is global warming, stop burning trees, cutting them down, stop doing that. How do you intertwine creativity and activism? And not limiting creativity to art, exactly, but also taking creativity all the way to conceptual frameworks, the preparation of them, as you had said, and also taking creativity all the way to design, graphic design, and things like that. So how do we ensure that we create a space for ourselves as youths to use our arts and our passions to pass on the message that we want to pass on? Are we together? Yeah, let's talk about that and much more when we come back from the break. My name is Wangeshika Remi. This is MBCI TV, and I will see you right after the break.
The Quench, where you ask, we answer.